boy, does Gary have a live show for you tonight. So buckle up, get your popcorn, and charge your devices because he's diving deep into some of the most shocking stories that the mainstream media doesn't want you to know about. Here's what he's got lined up. Vice President Kamala Harris says she's ready to debate Trump. But wait until you hear what we've uncovered about her so-called equity plan. It's a bombshell that'll make your jaw drop. Donald Trump's firing back at Biden's recent Oval Office address, and he's not holding back. He's exposing what he calls a palace coup to remove Biden from office. You won't believe what he says behind it. We've got a breaking investigation into Kamala Harris's campaign fundraising practices. Folks, this could be huge. We're talking potentially fraudulent activities that could shake up the entire Democratic fundraising machine. Fox News' Peter Doocy is at it again, this time exposing an alleged attempt to rewrite VP Harris's role in the border crisis. We've got the before and after that'll blow your mind. And finally, we're previewing a groundbreaking documentary that promises to shatter everything you thought you knew about the 2020 Michigan governor kidnapping plot. After each of these special reports, our man Gary will be checking in, using his personal cell phone to scroll the Next News X feed live and reading your reactions from the live chat. So keep that chat blazing tonight. All right, let's hand it over to Gary so he can uncover the truth they don't want you to see.
Is the raw feed. Tonight I'm diving into stories that matter to you, the hardworking Americans who built this country. We've got Vice President Harris ready to debate, but is she ready to explain her equity plan? It sounds eerily like something straight out of Marx's playbook. We'll uncover what is really behind Biden's Oval Office address and why Trump's calling it a palace. Buckle up, America. We are diving into a political firestorm that is about to change everything you thought you knew about the 2024 race. Former President Trump is pulling back the curtain on what he calls a palace coup against Biden. And trust me, you don't want to miss a single word, from shocking revelations about who's really running the show to dire warnings about America's future. This interview is a game changer, so stay tuned for exclusive clips that'll make your jaw drop, and just wait until you hear our final thought. It's a wake-up call you can't ignore. Now, folks, let's talk about protecting your future. Just as Trump is warning about threats to our nation, there is a silent threat to your finances: the weakening dollar. Gold has soared past $2,400 an ounce in 2024, not because it's getting pricier, but because our greenback is losing its punch. It's like trying to win an election with outdated tactics. You need a new strategy, and that is where Global Gold Investments comes in. They are America's conservative precious metals dealer, offering a financial lifeline in these uncertain times. Call that number on the screen, 888-700-4148 now. Mention Next News for VIP treatment. They'll even waive IRA fees for 5 years on qualified rollovers. Don't let your savings become a casualty of economic upheaval. Secure your financial future today. Call that number, 888-700-4148, or visit IRAGoldproof.com. Your financial fortress awaits. Now, welcome back, Patriots. This is Gary Franchi for the Next News Network, and we have a bombshell that is going to blow the lid off Washington's latest power play. Former President Trump just sat down with Fox and Friends, and what he revealed is nothing short of explosives. He didn't mince words when asked about Biden's recent Oval Office address. He called it terrible, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. According to Trump, we're witnessing nothing less than a palace coup against Biden. Let's roll the tape and hear it straight from the source. Watch.
Well, I think it was a coup. They didn't want him running. He was way down in the polls, and they thought he was going to lose. They went to him and they said, "You can't win the race," which I think is true, unless I did something very foolish, which I wasn't going to do. And I think he was so far down, and they said, "You're not going to win, and you're not in great shape, and you did poorly in the debate." I think the debate started everything. That really started the fall. If he didn't have the debate, and remember, they challenged me. I didn't challenge them. They said, "Let's have a debate." They gave me everything I didn't want, from Jake Tapper to everybody else in CNN. And, I said, I'll take it, because I was surprised that he was willing to debate. So we debated. It didn't turn out well, but it really began from the debate. And the ratings, his approval numbers went very bad. And I was beating him by a lot. And all of a sudden, you could see what was happening. They were trying to do a coup. And I have it from very good information. I know a lot of people on the other side, too, that they went and they forced him out, between Pelosi and Obama and some others that
Right.
you see on television. It was interesting. I'd watch them on television, and they act so nice. "Oh, yes, we love Joe. We love Joe." Behind the scenes, I know for a fact they were brutal. Well, I think.
So you heard it, folks. Trump believes Biden is being pushed out by his own party. He points to plummeting poll numbers and a disastrous debate performance as the catalyst. But here's the kicker. Trump's claiming he's got inside information that heavy hitters like Pelosi and Obama are the ones wielding the knives. But it's not just about Biden. Trump's got plenty to say about the person who might step into the Oval Office next, Vice President Kamala Harris. Let me tell you, he didn't pull any punches. Listen.
He's been this way for a long time. He hid in his basement during COVID. They pulled a fast one. He was in his basement. When I was campaigning, I said, "Where is this guy? He's never out." And he's been this way for a long time. I think he's worse now. I watched the speech last night, and look, the amazing thing is you look at the other networks. They say, "Oh, wasn't that a wonderful speech? Wasn't he wonderful?" It was terrible. It was like a terrible speech and terrible delivery. He looked like he was having problems. And yet you watch the other networks and you would think he was Ronald Reagan in his prime, Winston Churchill in his prime. And he wasn't. It was not good. It was not a good speech. The look, the sound, the voice, everything. And it's so phony what's going on. I mean, the press is it's so fake. Anybody can see it was a problem. He's a problemed man. Should he stay? I guess that's up to him and it's up to the people. And I don't think they should use the 25th Amendment. You have not long to go. We have 4 months now, and then he's got another month and a half. But I will say this, the world is in a very dangerous place. I think if he goes, she then takes over. And she's worse than he is. I really believe she's a San Francisco radical. She's actually, I think, a much worse candidate than he is. And she's not doing very well in the polls, considering she's got a little birthday present.
A birthday present. Well, Trump paints a dire picture of a potential Harris presidency, calling her worse than Biden and a San Francisco radical. He even goes on to say America couldn't survive under her leadership. When asked about Harris's progressive record and policies, he didn't hold back. Here is his shocking response. Watch.
No. And she also wants to defund the police, and she really wants to do it more than any other person. She's the most radical person probably that we've had in office, let alone the office of the presidency. She was a horrible campaigner when she ran. She ran against Biden. And I thought he was terrible, but she was terrible. She was horrible. And she was the meanest person up there. She was meaner to him than anybody else. She accused him of being a racist with the buses, if you remember. She was the meanest person, but not a very good debater, but nasty, just nasty to him. And then when he chose her, I said, how do you do that? A person treats you so badly. He was treated so badly during the debates. And he wasn't all there even during those debates. I mean, that was a long time ago. He still wasn't there. If you know him, he wasn't there 25 years ago. He was not exactly the brightest bulb in the ceiling. And this is what we got. And look at our country now with 20 million. Because the number, I saw you talking before to Rachel's mom. And it was very sad. I know them. And what happened to Rachel was so horrible. And what happened to so many families and so many people in families with all of the criminals pouring into our country. And remember this, every single country all over the world, unless they're stupid, is releasing their prisoners and their gang members and their bad people into our country. Venezuela, which has a tremendous problem with crime in Caracas and other places, Venezuela is releasing thousands of people, criminals, gang members, drug dealers, the worst. They're releasing them into the United States. Venezuelan crime is down 72%. Their prison population is becoming much smaller. I'm surprised they haven't just moved all of them. They will. They'll soon have no prisoners. All of the prisoners are being moved into the United States. And that's true with many other countries. It's true with countries all over. The Congo in Africa is releasing their prisoners into the United States. We are so stupid that we take them, and nothing good is going to happen. And we have terrorists coming in at a level that we've never seen, mostly from the Middle East. Terrorists are coming into our country at a level that we've never seen before. And this is so bad for our country. There is nothing good about it. This is so bad for our country.
Trump's warnings about Harris are stark. He calls her the most radical person we've had in office and accuses her of wanting to defund the police. It's true, though. But that's not all. He goes on to paint a grim picture of our nation's security under her potential leadership. Now let's address the elephant in the room, Trump's VP pick, JD Vance. Some have questioned whether this was the right move, given that he's now likely to face a female opponent. Here's what Trump had to say about that. Listen.
He's fantastic. Yeah, no, it wouldn't have mattered. And I thought she was probably going to happen anyway, because I knew there was a palace coup going on, and I assumed that she'd be probably getting it. She had the advantage. So, yeah, it wouldn't matter. No, he's doing a fantastic job. He goes around. He's essentially for the worker. He's seen the worker be horribly abused and taken advantage of, and he's for the worker. That's what his book is about. Right. That's where his feelings are.
Gotcha.
No, he's for the worker. No, he's great. He's doing a great job, and he's been very well received.
Trump stands firm behind Vance, praising his commitment to American workers. It's clear he's not second-guessing this decision, even in light of recent developments. Of course, Harris isn't taking these accusations lying down. She's on the attack, touting her record as a prosecutor. Let's take a look at her attack.
Before I was elected vice president, before I was elected United States Senator, I was elected Attorney General of the state of California, and I was a courtroom prosecutor before then. I took on perpetrators of all kinds. Predators who abused women, fraudsters who ripped off consumers, cheaters who broke the rules for their own gain. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. And in this campaign, I promise you, I will proudly put my record against his any day of the week.
What record? Yeah, that most liberal senator record. Of course, Trump's not buying it. Here's his blistering response to Harris' counterattack. Watch.
Well, I think it's disgusting, and I get a kick out of one thing. They say, sir, be nice. You just got hit with a bullet. Maybe he's changed. Be nice. And I'd love to be nice, but I'm dealing against real garbage. When you hear that, they've weaponized the justice system against me. They've indicted me 4 times. They've pushed other lawsuits onto me. It's never happened in this country. This is like a third world country, what they've done, a banana republic. Every single court case that I have is pushed on by them. They've taken the Justice Department, used local DAs, and used local attorney generals. Every single case I have, and I just won the big one in Florida, that Biden didn't win. What happened to Biden is they called him incompetent. He can run for president, but he's incompetent to represent himself in court. But just so you know, they push all these cases on me. They're the ones that started. And then they say, I'm a prosecutor. He's a criminal. They're the ones. Every case is started by them. And I'm winning the cases. But every case, and the big one I just won in Florida was just thrown out by a brilliant judge, to be honest with you. It's disgraceful. It's disgraceful that they can do this. It's called weaponization, and it does happen in other countries. It's not a question of getting under your skin. You fight back. I fought back, I think, very valiantly. But they weaponized the United States Justice Department against Donald Trump for purposes of hurting their political opponent. And so far, and I think long term, it's had a positive effect. My poll numbers are high. They're higher than they've ever been. People don't like what they're doing. They weaponize it to go after a political opponent. Now, and she was very much in charge, and she was a prosecutor, but she was a failed prosecutor. She put a lot of people in jail that should have never been there. She put people in jail that were political enemies. She's bad news. She's a radical left, not very smart person.
Mr. President,
she failed her bar exam. She couldn't even pass her bar exam. It was brutal on her. She couldn't pass it. She thought she'd never be able to pass it. This is what we have as our next president.
So Trump hits back hard, accusing Harris of weaponizing the justice system and putting political enemies in jail. He brings up her struggles with the bar exam, questioning her competence to lead. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. It's time for my final thought. Patriots, what we've witnessed today is nothing short of a political earthquake. Trump's clarity and strength of position are undeniable. He's laid bare what he sees as a coordinated effort to reshape the highest office in the land, and his warnings about a potential Harris presidency are stark and unequivocal. As we look ahead to the next 90 days, one thing is clear: this race is far from over. Harris still needs to secure the nomination, and if today's interview is any indication, she is got a fight on her hands. And Trump's not pulling any punches, and he's clearly positioning himself as the only bulwark against what he sees as a radical takeover of our government. So buckle up, America. The road to 2024 is going to be a wild ride. Now let's check back in with the chat and see what do you guys think about that story? Yeah, that was a great interview he gave to Fox and Friends this morning. She's been passed around more than a joint. Oh, warrior princess. That's brutal. Who is the president right at this moment? Yeah, that's the question on everybody's mind. I can certainly tell you that. And Brian, he's telling me we should have audio now on our feed. So if we have anything, yeah. So let's bring up the. Oh yeah. Do you hear that Jimmy Kimmel has stepped down from hosting his failing late night talk show? I wonder why. When all you do is sit there and you mock conservatives, you mock Trump, and your ratings go down, that's what happens. So, it is really sad. It's really sad because I remember before my mother passed, I remember I would go into her room and she would be watching Jimmy Kimmel. She loved Jimmy Kimmel. And he was so fun. I love Jimmy Kimmel. I love watching him on the Man Show and all those programs. And then the tide turned and he became a total jerk. And well, he's gone. So sorry about that. Let's see what else is going on in the feed here. The Health Ranger is bringing up 13 minutes ago, talking about the body cam footage that was released by Senator Grassley. We played that the other day. Someone asked, I heard that. I did hear that on the clip. Someone asked, do you have eyes on the water tower? And here's the frame where you can see the exact local time. This indicates the water tower was in play and law enforcement was concerned about it. So it may be difficult for you to see, but there is the water tower itself that everyone has been asking questions about. Now, it's really difficult to ascertain exactly what happened there at the water tower. The only video of the moment in question was blurry. It was difficult to see. It could be explained away as a shadow, but it was clearly in play. So, eyes on the water tower. I mean, look at the vantage point there. Let's see what else is going on here in the feed. Chinese firms seeking to cut stakes in new Indonesian nickel smelters. Under the radar storylines from the Washington Times. Spill the memes. When ADH people say their brain is faster than neurotypicals, that's what they mean. Let's see what else is going on here. Kamala Harris joins TikTok. What do you know? And it's just as cringe as you would imagine. Oh man, I don't even want to click on that. That's for sure. Okay, yeah, so this is what we've been seeing, these brat videos that these people are trying to meme Kamala Harris into popularity by making her seem like some kind of hip whatever. Yeah. Mike Lee, Pluto is a planet. Yeah, that was a sad day when they downgraded Pluto. I remember that very clearly. No context memes. Oh, okay. Mario Nawfal, judge reconsidering dismissal of Giuliani's bankruptcy case. A judge might reconsider dismissing his bankruptcy case due to the failure to pay creditors' expenses. Interesting. U.S. intercepts China-Russia air patrol near Alaska. That's another story I was tracking earlier today. Raw alerts, another channel I follow here on X. Marvel Studios put a spectacular pyrotechnics drone show at a Comic-Con. Wow, that's pretty wild. Maricopa County Republican adopting resolution encouraging all Republicans to vote for Republican challengers to all Maricopa County officers. Yeah, so this is a little bit of the feed right now. Oh, it looks like we have another. Wow, this is the full extended version of the body cam footage. Brian, can we bring up that one shot so we can maybe bring this larger just for a moment so everyone can really see what's happening here? MJ Truth Ultra hasn't fully watched it yet. We'll update post as watch. Let me know if you see anything. So let's see if we can. Wow, it's 25 minutes long. 25 minutes. I'm going to turn the volume up here. Can you hear anything? Still not hearing anything. I'm going to check the volume. Yeah, nothing. Not getting any volume. So, not sure what the deal is with that. Everything should be working, but this is 25 minutes long. And it's hard to tell what exactly is happening here. They don't seem to be in a hurry, that's for sure. Maybe it's because the shooter is already down. Hard to figure that out, so let's maybe scroll through this. Okay, here we are. This is now they're on the roof. Okay, now I scrolled it back a little bit. Okay, they're assessing the grounds of the shooter's location. There was a report also earlier today that I thought was interesting. I need to do a little bit more digging to get the full story, but it looks like they found the shooter's Gab account, which is interesting. Oh, there's a ladder. Is that the ladder? They're using his ladder to get up on the roof. What do you know? Holy cow. Now, I'm not sure which body camera this is. There was another body camera that was released. Let's see. Brian, is there any audio coming from this feed at all? Because I'm not hearing anything. I don't want to be blasting out everybody. The phone's up all the way. Yeah. Okay, so they're on the roof now, as you can see. Holy cow. This is crazy. There's the backpack, the shooter's backpack, apparently. Oh my. There's the blood. Oh boy. Man. All blurred out. There's been a lot of talk lately. It is. I don't hear it. I can't hear anything through the earpiece, so I don't know what they're saying, and I can't ascertain the volume. Okay, if you can, that'd be great, because if I'm talking over what the police are saying. I am talking over what they're saying? Okay, well, I'm not. Okay, so yeah, this is a 25-minute video. Look at that. There was footage that was released earlier about how Crooks was training at the same location as some DHS people in the area. That was an interesting story. It's like I wanted to cover this for you tonight. And Jeremy, you should send me the unedited version, because I do want to see that. My stomach is pretty solid. So Jeremy, send me that unedited version wherever you can find it. Usually, if you search around Twitter enough, you can find these things. But I don't have the time right now because I'm streaming live, and I don't want to put something over this broadcast that's going to create issues. But there's the shooter. So Jeremy, if you can send an email to press@Next News Network, or you can send it to Gary@Next News Network. Send the link there, and I will. Or you can just send it to me, tag me on it on X, whatever. But email is probably better. So I'm trying to figure out, is this the same shot? Is this the same officer's footage we saw the other day? I guess, according to MJ Truth Ultra, Senator Chuck Grassley released a clipped version of this. So this is the full unedited 25-minute version where the officer points to the window and he's like, hey, that was Greg over there. Greg's the one that took the pictures. You can go ask him. And then some of those pictures have now been published. I was looking at them today. Some of the photos, different photos of Crooks as he was approaching the site. Yeah, there's the shot of the window where the other snipers were. Now, some people are speculating that those snipers might have taken the shot. When Christopher Wray testified, he didn't confirm that Crooks was the one who pulled all the trigger. He just said, yeah, we found 8 shell casings, but he didn't confirm who shot the shell casings. All he said was, we found 8. Didn't say where they came from. So, a lot of questions, and this is going to haunt America for a very long time, especially because we don't trust the FBI anymore, because they have become a politicized, weaponized organization that are only executing the will of the deep state and the Democrat machine. So we can continue watching this, but what I'll do is I will retweet this right now. So if you go to my X feed, Next News Network, you can actually see this. So I just retweeted it so you can see it yourself. And who loves a Babylon Bee, right? Everyone loves Babylon Bee. Donald Trump will destroy democracy, says party nominating candidate no one voted for. Ain't that the truth? Okay, so let's get back into the next story here, and we can begin with our next report. Oh, this is so this story that I'm about to do, we'll get Angie. She'll set it up for us all, and we'll go with that. So, stand by.
Next, alleged fundraising fraud rocks Harris campaign. Investigation reveals suspicious micro donations, potentially manipulated data, and misleading tactics through ActBlue.
All right, breaking news. America, a bombshell investigation has uncovered shocking allegations of widespread fraud in Kamala Harris campaign fundraising. Thousands of suspicious micro donations. One of our viewers pointed out it's called smurfing. That's the term. I had to look it up. I'm like, is that what it is? Well, apparently these micro donations came through ActBlue. They're raising some serious questions about the integrity of her actual grassroots support. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, so stay tuned for our exclusive report that exposes the full scope of the scandal. You won't believe what we've uncovered about unemployed donors and manipulated data. Plus, don't miss our final thought on why this matters to every single American. It will stun you. Now, folks, just as we are exposing political fraud, there is another crisis brewing. I'm talking about the final famine. That's right. But don't panic. I found a solution at rationready.com. It's linked below. They're offering a year's worth of food storage, giving you peace of mind in uncertain times. Order now and get 2 free reports with declassified intelligence. It's the inside scoop you won't find elsewhere, just like our investigation. Now, don't wait for this video to be taken down. Visit rationready.com now and watch their eye-opening video on surviving the final famine. It's your chance to stay ahead, just like we are doing by exposing this fundraising scandal. Secure your family's future today. All right, buckle up, America. We're diving into a scandal that could shake the very foundation of Kamala Harris's campaign. Our investigation has uncovered alarming evidence of potential fraud in her fundraising efforts through ActBlue. Let's start with the bombshell findings from Apple Lamps, an independent investigator. In just 10 minutes on FEC.gov, they discovered startling donation patterns from supposedly unemployed individuals. Now, let's take a look at some of these numbers. 4 unemployed individuals donating a staggering $197,993.68 across, you ready for this? 23,416 separate donations. That's an average of 10 donations per day, every day, since January 1st, 2023. Does this sound like genuine grassroots support to you? So let's break it down. These suspicious donations. First, we have Carolyn from New Jersey. living in an apartment and listed as unemployed. She somehow managed to donate over $53,000 through 5,998 separate donations since January 1st of 23. The bulk of the donations, 36,000, went directly to ActBlue across over 4,600 transactions. But it doesn't stop there. She also made donations to various Democrat campaigns and PACs, including Bob Casey for Senate, Jeffries for Congress, and Nancy Pelosi for Congress. So how does an unemployed person living in an apartment have this kind of money to throw around? Next, we have Sandra from California. Also unemployed and living in an average house. She donated $30,000, or just over $30,000, ready for this, across 66,000, almost 6,800 donations. Again, the majority went to ActBlue, just over $19,000, over 4,870 donations. She also contributed to Rosen for Nevada, HMP, and even Harris for President. That's right, folks. Direct donations to Harris campaign from an unemployed individual. Then there is Thomas from Wisconsin. His listed address is just a plot of land, yet this unemployed donor managed to give, you ready for this? Just shy of $70,000 through 2,600 donations. A whopping almost 35,000 went to ActBlue in 1,600 separate transactions. He also donated to the Progressive Turnout Project, Retired Americans PAC, and once again, Harris for President. And then we also have here, this is Amy. Meet Amy from Oregon, another unemployed donor who somehow scraped together $42,000 for about 8,000 donations that ActBlue received. Okay? Now, they received $29,000 from her across 5,500 transactions. She donated to Ameripac, Moms Fed Up, Elect Democratic Women. Now, my friends, these patterns are not just suspicious, they are downright alarming. So how are unemployed individuals making thousands of small donations totaling tens of thousands of dollars? And why are they spreading these donations across multiple Democrat campaigns and PACs? But it gets worse. Tony Saruga, another investigator, he found over 400,000 new ActBlue accounts created in just 30 days. Now take a look at some of the emails that were sent by the Harris campaign. They're practically begging for $1, $2, $3 donations, but there's a twist that reveals just how deep the rabbit hole goes. You ready? In this email, you can see right here, they're pushing hard for a measly $3 donation. They claim it could guarantee Joe and Kamala are reelected and prevent Donald Trump from becoming president again. Yeah. Well, here's another one. This time, they are down to asking for just $1. $1. They're using scare tactics, mentioning Trump's far-right billionaire donors and a supposed $50 million donation to Trump's super PAC. It's clear fear-mongering 101. But this last email is where things get really interesting. If you notice the name at the top, FJB. Now you might think that's just a random set of initials, but here's the kicker. The investigators deliberately seeded these initials into ActBlue's database. That's right, America. Tony Saruga and his team inserted tens of thousands of fake donors into ActBlue lists to track their activities, and lo and behold, here's one of the fake names showing up in an official email. This proves beyond a shadow of doubt that the Harris campaign is using these ActBlue lists for their fundraising efforts. They're sending personalized emails to names that don't even exist. But why are they so desperate for these tiny donations? It's not about the money, folks. It's about creating ActBlue accounts to facilitate what appears to be a massive scam. They're using these small donations to create a smokescreen of grassroots support, all while potentially funneling much larger sums through these seemingly innocent transactions. This isn't just clever marketing. This is deception on a grand scale, potentially violating campaign finance laws and misleading the American public. And now we have proof that they are reaching out to fake donors created by our own investigators. The question is, how many of their other donors are equally fictitious? But don't just take my word for it. James O'Keefe, a renowned investigative journalist, uncovered a shocking case. An 80-year-old man living on the outskirts of Washington, D.C., was listed as making over 31,000 individual contributions. 31,000 contributions. You ready for the grand total? $230,000. Let's watch this.
I'm about to call Garland Riggs. He's the excessive small amount donor. 31,073 individual contributions were made under his address. He's 80 years old. He lives on the outskirts of D.C. So many people across the country. I'm going to call him and see if I can make a contribution in his name. See how he responds. He's either a victim of some type of conspiracy or he's a culprit himself. A lot of these phone numbers are available on white pages, on Google, and other apps where you can find people's phone numbers and information. Hey there, Mr. Riggs.
Yes.
James O'Keefe, just asking about those contributions we spoke on the phone. Have you donated to ActBlue in the past?
I don't believe so.
You're listed as someone who's given over 31,000 individual contributions to various causes for a total of $230,000 using your name in this address.
No, that's not us.
That's not you?
No.
Have you ever donated to ActBlue? Or
I think my wife has, but nowhere near it.
are you aware that people are using your name?
No,
Have you donated to ActBlue in the past?
I don't believe so.
You're listed as someone who's given over 31,000 individual contributions to various causes for a total of $230,000 using your name in this address. How much did you donate to ActBlue?
So would you say 1,000 a year?
Not 1,000? Would the FEC records say that you've given $230,000?
No.
It appears that someone else may be committing a crime using your address. I'll email you that information, the FEC records.
And do you think you can find at least some of these individuals?
That's what I do, sir.
God bless James O'Keefe. Did you see that? The man had no idea his name was being used for these donations. This isn't just fraud. It is identity theft on a massive scale. But wait, there's more. Another victim in Franklin, Tennessee, was shocked to learn she allegedly made about 2,100 donations totaling just over $17,000 to ActBlue between 2018 and 2022. Watch.
So 2022, I have here just to the organization ActBlue that you donated 865 times throughout the year, totaling of $5,863.92.
No way.
And then 2021, you donated 1,103 times, worth about $7,997.
Not at all.
In 2020, this might be possible because a low number. 2020, 205 times,
Possibly.
worth $3,071.09.
That sounds more logical. I don't. The other ones.
And then from 2018 to 2019, just 9 times, about $160.
Yeah.
Okay. But so total, I have from 2018 to 2022 total. You donated 2,182 times, worth of $17,092.82.
We're retired school teachers. We don't have that big of a pile.
Wow. And in New Orleans, another unsuspecting victim, this retired teacher on Social Security, was stunned to hear that they supposedly donated over $29,000 in thousands of small donations. Watch.
Last year in 2022, it showed that you donated 1,113 times, so like four times a day.
No, that's not possible.
About $13,347.84.
No, sir, that's not possible.
And the year before that, in 2021, 715 times, about $6,957.90.
No, sir. No, sir. Did not.
Okay, and then 2020, 839 times, about $6,983.10.
No, sir.
Okay, just from 2016 to 2022, just total in that year about $29,107.
I don't have that kind of money, sir. I'm on Social Security. I don't have that kind of money to donate.
Okay.
Sir,
Wow.
that's not even possible. I can't.
Wow.
I don't even get on my phone or the internet that much. I have donated to political parties in the past. I do that, but there's no way on earth I donate 5-6 times a day to somebody.
Unreal. So they start with an account, low numbers, and then they just exploit the accounts. Now, these are not isolated incidents. This appears to be a systemic abuse of ActBlue's platform, potentially orchestrated by the Harris campaign to create an illusion of widespread grassroots support. The implications are staggering, and if the allegations are true, we're looking at a massive campaign finance violation. This is not just about inflating numbers, it's about deceiving the American people and potentially laundering money through thousands of fake small donations. So the scandal raises serious questions about the integrity of Kamala Harris's campaign and the Democrat fundraising machine as a whole. So how deep does this go? How many more unsuspecting Americans have had their identities used without their knowledge? That's a question we need to answer. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. It's time for my final thought. America, what we've uncovered here is not just a scandal, it's a full-blown assault on our democratic process. The Kamala Harris campaign through ActBlue appears to be orchestrating a massive fraud, manipulating donation data to create a false illusion of grassroots support. So this goes far beyond typical political maneuvering. It's potential identity theft, financial fraud, and a mockery of our election system. Marco Rubio's call for an FEC probe back in April of 2023, it was a start, but it's not nearly enough. We need a full congressional investigation right now. The integrity of our elections is at stake. Every American, regardless of party, should be outraged, and we must demand transparency, accountability, and justice because our republic depends on it. All right, let's jump back into the feed. What did you guys think about that story? That was insane. Think about how much money is going through these unsuspecting people. Like you should go to ActBlue and see if you've ever donated. That's the thing. If you've donated to a campaign, what happens next? Like if you like, it appears. I mean, they claim it's happening on both sides. Now I don't know. The investigations that we looked at were focusing on ActBlue. James O'Keefe's investigations focusing on ActBlue. Southern Dems kept Lincoln off the ballot. They better leave the elderly alone. Sabrina, they're not. They are not. Don't pick on the elderly. Nunu says that. Cindy says, I suspect it is just so many people, but go unnoticed. And that's the truth. That is the truth. ActBlue is Democrat. That's right, Mark. Must be Democrat voters who donated years ago whose name's still on the donation list being used. That's exactly what it is. Like that one woman, she's like, yeah, I did donate a few donations. That seems about right. And then they just go in and exploit the account. But the real question is, where's the big money coming from? That's the big question. Like they could take millions upon millions of dollars from foreign sources, and they could put it into some kind of account, and then somehow start distributing that money through all of these fake accounts. I mean, they have to be setting up. I mean, if you think about how many credit cards are required to do this, 400,000 donations. That means you have to have 400,000 different identities. You have to set up 400,000 accounts. Now, if you have a credit card that's set up in your name, what happens next? I mean, it would show up on your credit report, wouldn't it? And a lot of these people probably don't even realize that their credit is being used. Or what if it's a bank account? What if someone sets up a bank account in their name? They dump $50,000 into this bank account, they get a debit card, and suddenly they are distributing that money. That's probably the most likely thing. They get the person's information because it's all in ActBlue. They set up these shell bank accounts in their name. And I bet you a lot of these people don't have any level of protection on their accounts. Like, there's a lot of services that you can sign up for that will monitor your credit in real time and let you know if there's a credit check that's wrong, if an account's open in your name. That would be the first step just to protect yourself, because waiting for government, why? Really? You're going to wait for government to fix the problem? I don't think so. A Wright is saying that they are using foreign banks. That's even scarier because, I mean, how can you can't use a foreign bank. I mean, I guess you could use a foreign bank, but have a U.S. address, and then it becomes a domestic account. I mean, think about the level of fraud that's going on here. What if the IRS was showing up at people's homes? Then no, they're more concerned. They won't do that. One frame from the last post of Gary's original was removed. Just one frame. Okay. I'm not going to be able to, Jeremy, I'm not going to be able to go back to that post. So if you're going to send me something, you have to tweet it at me or shoot it at me, email it to me, whatever. Because I do want to see it. We're going to check the sound on this right now. Just a second. How do we, okay, there we go. All right. Looking at the feed again. Alex Rosen crashed a Kamala Harris event and was chased out by a horde of Democrat zombies. You guys want to see this? Alex Rosen, I Fight for Kids is his X handle. Maybe we can pull up the big screen and do the best we can. Let's see here. I'll wait for you to pull it up, and then we can go. I love this guy. A million views on that. Yes, Walnut, Arkansas. This is a live feed. Let's take a look here. 13 minutes ago, Trump campaign response to Harris debate. Interesting. Let's see what he says. Trump campaign responds, there is a strong sense by many in the Democrat Party, namely Barack Hussein Obama, that Kamala Harris is a Marxist fraud who cannot beat President Trump, and they're still holding out for someone better. It would be inappropriate to schedule things with Harris because Democrats could very well change their minds. Damn! That was published just, let's see, this was published 13 minutes ago. Now, they've been saying that they're saying that Trump's afraid to debate Kamala Harris. That's not the case. And in fact, right before Biden dropped out, what did they do? They put out a similar statement. And that statement simply said that they wouldn't be scheduling any vice presidential debates because they didn't know who the vice presidential candidate would be, because they knew that Biden was going to bail. And now this is a similar troll post by the Trump Vance campaign. Given the continued political chaos surrounding crooked Joe Biden and the Democrat Party general election debate, details cannot be finalized until Democrats formally decide on their nominee. There's a strong sense by many in the Democrat Party, namely Barack Hussein Obama, that Kamala Harris is a Marxist fraud who cannot beat President Trump, and they're still holding out for someone better. Therefore, it would be inappropriate to schedule things with Harris because Democrats very well could still change their minds. Well, she's not the nominee. They haven't voted yet. That day is coming when they will hold that vote. And many people are still saying that it's going to be Michelle Obama. She's going to swoop right in. And if and we know Obama is behind the scenes, pulling the strings, keeping an eye on the polls, all these things. All the polls indicate that Kamala's going to fail against Trump. And they will do whatever it takes. Could you imagine if they go ahead and swap out another candidate again? Oh boy. Yeah. This is the craziest campaign cycle that I've ever covered. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry, what Brian? There was audio on that last clip. You didn't hear it? I heard it. I heard it in my earpiece. Let me see if I can find something with some audio for you. What's this? Okay, here's this. Can you?
Bad idea?
Elaborate.
Okay, so we're in 3 proxy wars with some of the most powerful leaders in the world. She failed at the border, in which we have an estimation of 15 to 20 million people illegally into this country. That is literally overtaking and bankrupting Chicago to the tune of over $400 million per year, and they are in a deficit. Oakland is going out of business. San Francisco, ditto. California, $65 billion deficit. New York, they're literally cutting trash, in which they are the rattiest, dirtiest city, and they've taken up resources as far as free healthcare, free hotels to the tune of $600 a day. They're literally taking over your schools. Your taxpayer dollars are going to fund the migrant crisis. She was supposed to be in charge of this. We have a failing economy. Every single day I see people getting on the internet talking about $30 an hour is the new minimum wage, because inflation is fucking out of control. At one point, it was at almost 10%, depending on what city that you in. She has no policy, no record to stand on. One of the biggest things that she did in her career was lock up more black men than ever before. But we sitting here and vote her in office on identity politics. The very person that she was under as far as the president of the United States of America, she called him racist during a debate, which shows you how fake she is. And the only thing that we can stand on from a policy perspective is whether or not she's black and she's a woman. We did that during the Obama administration, and he didn't do anything for black people. As a matter of fact, y'all complain because the only person that he did, or the only group of people that he really stood for, is the alphabet community, and that's his landmark thing that he's still standing on today.
Wow.
So the only thing that we have to stand on is identity politics. That shit didn't work with Tiffany Henyard in Dalton, Illinois. It didn't work with Karen Bass. It didn't work with Lori Lightfoot in Chicago. It didn't work with Brandon Johnson, that then took over her position in Chicago. It didn't work with Andre Dickens in Atlanta. It didn't work with Eric Adams in New York. It doesn't work across the country. Every single Democratic city is a hellhole. And we sitting here talking about identity politics? Vote for? Let me ask you a question. Would you vote for?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm going to just be real honest with this. She's a black woman.
Yeah.
Because it goes back to folk, not Kim folk.
I think it goes back to what somebody was saying, where it's not voting for someone, but majority will vote for somebody else just kind of.
Wait. Hold on. Let me man this out.
Wow. That's insane. But the one guy was making strong points. He's like, I'm fed up with this. Why are we going to continue this? We did it before, and why do it again? Complaining about how Obama did nothing. Yeah. Exactly, Nunu. I'm going to highlight that point you said here. Race doesn't matter, only character. We've said it 100 times here. That's what matters, character. Okay, let's get ready for the next report. Angie?
Up next, Doocy confronts White House on Harris border crisis role. Leaked Democrat memo attempts to rewrite VP's involvement.
Folks, what you're about to see will shake your faith in Washington. Peter Doocy just cornered the White House with proof of a massive cover-up involving Kamala Harris and the border crisis. But that is just the beginning. We've uncovered a trail of deception that goes deeper than you can imagine. So stick around for our final thought. It's a wake-up call every American needs to hear. So let's dive in. And before we do, into this explosive report, let me tell you about a crisis that's hitting American families just like the border crisis, skyrocketing energy bills. That's right. Just as the White House is trying to distance Kamala from the border mess, power companies are leaving you in the dark about wasted energy. But what I've found is a way to fight back. This amazing little device right here, it slashes the power bills and sticks it to those greedy utility companies. It's like having your own border wall for electricity waste. Try it risk-free for 60 days plus 65% off and free shipping at don'twastepower.com. Don't let the energy crisis drain your wallet. Order now at don'twastepower.com. Now let's get back into it. The White House is in full panic mode. They're trying to rewrite history right before our eyes, and it's all about Kamala Harris and her role in the border crisis. Peter Doocy, Fox News reporter extraordinaire, just dropped a bombshell in the White House briefing room. He confronted Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre with some very inconvenient facts. Watch.
Democrats on Capitol Hill are being handed this card with talking points about the vice president and the border. Do you know who's handing this out?
I have no idea. You probably should ask her campaign.
So the first one says Vice President Harris was never appointed border czar. There's never been such a position. It doesn't exist. Why are Democrats so sensitive about the vice president and the border?
Why are Republicans so sensitive about actually not owning up to them getting in the way of a border deal? Why? Why won't they own up to that? Why won't they own up to the last president told them not to move forward? It was a bipartisan deal on just right there, available to them, and they voted twice against it. Twice against it. Why are they so sensitive to moving forward and actually dealing on an issue that majority of Americans care about, is dealing with what's going on at the border?
Do you think that the border would be less of a talking point now if there was less migration to the border, say if somebody had addressed root causes of migration sooner?
Wait, hold on a second. Did you not hear the beginning of I know there were a lot of toppers, but one of the toppers, I talked about what we're seeing at the border. It's down by 55%, not because of Republicans in Congress and what they did. It's because what this president and this vice president did. He moved forward and took actions to deal with what's going on at the border. Republicans continue to block getting resources to the Border Patrol agents. They continue to block actually dealing with an immigration system. So yes, we are going to debunk the false characterization of the vice president. She was not a border czar. And it's not just us. Independent fact checkers have said the same thing, that did not exist, and that is not true.
And a different topic, Russia and China.
Did you catch that? Democrats are handing out talking points claiming Kamala was never the border czar. It's a blatant attempt to distance her from Biden's disastrous border policies, but Doocy wasn't having it. He brought the receipts, and Jean-Pierre's response was weak at best. So why the sudden change? Well, it seems Kamala's stealing Joe's thunder, snagging his delegates ahead of the DNC convention. And suddenly the media is singing a different tune about her border role. But we've got the goods. Check out this stunning, ready for this? This is a before and after montage showing how the media is flipped faster than a border jumper over a fence. Watch.
Quote unquote border czar. Vice President Harris was not a border czar.
Meantime, Vice President and border czar Kamala Harris facing some backlash.
What he said about Harris and immigration was not true. She was never appointed border czar.
And this will be her first visit to the U.S.-Mexico border region since she was appointed as the border czar by President Biden.
People gonna have to counter the misinformation. You already hear folks talking about the border czar. She wasn't the border czar.
President Biden tapped Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, to be the border czar.
Now, she wasn't the border czar. That's what Republicans labeled her.
They were very critical of Kamala Harris, especially in her role as border czar.
Now what she's up against is folks lying about her border record, calling her a border czar.
Kamala Harris, who was appointed as the border czar.
The Biden team didn't declare her the border czar. They wanted her to work on kind of the root causes of immigration.
There has been so much criticism against Kamala Harris. You know, she was the border czar.
Calling her sort of the border czar, which wasn't necessarily the case.
So the border, if they weren't planning to address it in a major way, do not make her your border czar. She met with some of the Northern Triangle countries, but nothing has effectively changed.
Unfrickin' believable. It's a complete 180. One day she's the border czar, the media clearly defining her as such. The next, it's all a Republican lie. This isn't just spin, it's a full-blown cover-up. But wait, there's more. Remember Trump's rally in Charlotte? Well, he brought out the big guns, the National Border Patrol Council president, and boy, did he have something to say about our so-called border czar. Watch.
Kamala Harris knows what she needs to do. I was there. I gave her all of the policies that she needed, all of them, and she refused to implement them. She does not care about you. She does not care about the safety of this country. He does. This is the man for the presidency.
That is a direct hit from the folks on the front lines. Kamala had the tools but refused to use them. Why? Well, that's the million-dollar question. And speaking of millions, let's talk about Kamala's mysterious root causes strategy. Now, Chris Coles, he broke it down for us last night, and it's more sinister than we thought. Watch.
Did you see this whole scandal about how Axios was saying that conservatives are trying to gaslight everybody and say that Kamala Harris was the border czar? And then on X, everybody posted, Axios, it was you who originally called her the border czar, you morons. And people people have the evidence, right? They're sort of posting the screenshots from the articles in Axios that said Kamala Harris was appointed border czar. And Axios had to come out and be like, oh yeah, actually that's true. Whoops. It was ridiculous. So we kept hearing when Kamala Harris went down to Central America, she kept talking about how, we need to find the root causes. The problem with immigration is the root causes. Nobody knew what the hell that meant, right? And she kind of would try to explain it by saying, well, people are coming here because they're living in poverty and it's difficult for them, and so they're coming up. So we got to figure out what those root causes are and try to deal with that. And she's like, it may not have an immediate impact, but down the road, many years from now, and we're like, well, yeah, but we have an immediate problem, you stupid idiot. But anyway, no, but I found out what that is, right? Because the OMG group, right, James O'Keefe's group, he did an undercover thing where, with a couple of people within the government, and they acknowledged, one of the guys in particular acknowledged that the whole concept of the root causes effort by the Biden administration, led by Kamala Harris, was to just give money to these corrupt governments that had caused all of this poverty in their countries, and people were fleeing their countries and trying to escape into America, or trying to, illegally cross the border into America. And so her solution was these countries that has mismanaged their government so badly, they've got this, horrible poverty in their country, just to give them a bunch of money, as if the country is then going to be able to manage that money well. Okay. And all I could think was, Kamala Harris is setting this situation up to basically steal American tax dollars, give it to these oligarchs in these other countries so that they can steal it. And it's almost for sure coming back to American politicians as well. And probably Kamala Harris is stealing that money also, right? So because like we just saw, who was it? Senator Bob Menendez was just found guilty on all counts of stealing, essentially taking bribes from Egypt. We know Joe Biden did this. I'm 100% sure Kamala Harris did it. With this whole border czar, we'll send money to Central America and that'll stop immigration from coming. Did it stop immigration, Gary? You tell me. Did it stop immigration?
Oh, no, not at all.
No, it did not. No, it did not. The illegal immigration has continued. The
caravans,
flood, these
the caravans continue.
Caravans continue. Sending Central American countries money didn't seem to do anything, Kamala. It just lined the pockets of politicians, probably yourself included. This was all scam, and Kamala Harris was at the top of it. Root causes, everybody. Root causes.
You heard it right. This root causes nonsense. It's looking more and more like a massive cash grab, sending money to corrupt governments that caused the problem in the first place. It doesn't take a genius to see where that cash is really going. Let's not forget, while Kamala and her cronies are playing shell games with our tax dollars, the border is still wide open. Caravans keep coming, and American communities are paying the price. This is not just politics as usual. It's a betrayal of the American people on a massive scale. They are lying to our faces, wasting our money, and compromising our security. And now they're trying to pretend that it never happened. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So here's the bottom line, folks. This isn't just about Kamala Harris or talking points. It's about a government willing to lie, cheat, and steal, all while leaving our borders wide open. They are gambling with your safety, your tax dollars, and America's future. This cover-up proves that they know that they have failed. But instead of owning up, they're trying to rewrite history. Don't let them get away with it. It's time to hold them accountable. Our republic depends on that very fact. Now let's check back in with the chat and get their reaction. Let's see what we have. They can't head back there now. I watched a video of Benny. I didn't see that. Kabbalah. Leah. Jeremy, I remember. I used to have them garbage pail kids. That's funny. Garbage pail kids. Sailor Spirit says, strange days ahead, my brothers and sisters, for certain. Garbage pail kids and Cabbage Patch kids. Oh, man, that takes me back. I remember my mother was like, no, you can't have any garbage pail kids because they were just nasty. Oh, man, those are the days. Those were the days. Oh, man, let's check back in with the feed and see what is happening on the latest right now as the news is breaking. Let's see. Jumping in. France's, oh boy, Disclosed TV just reported that France's rail system has been disrupted due to some sabotage. Laura Loomer reporting 18 hours ago that Biden is dying, she says. Just like she said. People need to stop hating on me just because the media tells you to hate me. And then she posted a picture of everyone in the Oval Office as Biden was giving his address. Tesla smartphone. How adorable is this family? Oh boy. Kamala Harris just started her official campaign with the RuPaul and the drag queens. Isn't that something? Here's a picture of Millie Bobby Brown. Who's Millie Bobby Brown? I don't know who that is. Is that? I don't know. Haha, amazing. Community notes violated Axios so hard. I can't believe this website's only $8 a month. Elon Musk is reporting that. That's hilarious. What is this? Good morning. Why does the new Biden from last night have 2 ear holes? What? That's creepy. That is creepy. Greg, this is one of the funniest accounts on Twitter. Now that it's officially been a year, which one do you prefer? And Elijah Schaefer posting The latest PSYOP, apparently. I'm not sure who these women are. I'm assuming that they're probably Israeli soldiers. I gotta say, some of these Israeli soldiers are rather beautiful women. So that's the PSYOP that I can't argue with. Let's see. Ivan Rakelin. This guy's a beast, man. If you guys don't follow him, you should. Very high level whistleblower just contacted me yesterday through a trusted cutout. They see the ship is sinking. They want to be spared. Other lower level whistleblowers have already reached out as well. August will be very spicy. And he says amnesty ends on September 3rd. Again, 9 hours ago, Laura Loomer repeating that Joe Biden is dying. And this is him next to Netanyahu. Oh, poor guy. Yeah, he does not know what's going on at all. Look at that. Netanyahu knows where to look. Biden looks like he's terrified. Health Ranger, an hour ago, he's reporting on that footage from Grassley. He says, "Oh, what? No way." He says we can now determine that at 6:30 there was brass on the roof on both sides, north and south, apparently 8 casings, but that by 7:08 there was no brass on the roof, which means that between 6:30 and 7:08 somebody removed all the brass, but apparently nobody marked the locations where the brass was found because we see no such markings in the body cam 1 taken after 7. So a huge question emerges about who removed the brass and why normal rules of crime scene evidence marking have not been followed. Man, this assassination attempt just keeps getting crazier and crazier, and it's actually kind of hard for me to even follow it all because there's so many different threads, and I was gonna do a report on it today, but I'm like, I don't even know where to begin. Don't even know where to begin. So I'm gonna usually when these types of things happen, I try to let all the dust settle so I can get all the facts in front of me, and I can come to the conclusions based on the facts I have. But the facts keep coming faster than I can keep track. I typed into X, I typed in crooks into X, and I just tap what's happening latest, and it's just more than your mind can process. Looks like Ben Carson 6 hours ago, he was on with Tucker Carlson. I'm not sure if this is the full clip here.
Control the news media, and we have to recognize that we're being manipulated. And this goes back a long way. There have always been people who have not been happy with the United States and with the way that we do things. And you can go all the way back to 1963 and look at the congressional record. January the 10th, 1963, Congressman Herlong of Florida read into the record the 45 goals of communism in America and how they plan to fundamentally change our society. It was derived from a book called The Naked Communist by W. Cleon Skousen, who was a CIA agent and had done a lot of study on communism and its effect. And you look at those 45 goals, it was things like gaining control of the public school system and the teacher unions so that you could indoctrinate the kids, gaining control of the news media and Hollywood so that you could manipulate the opinions of people, denigrating the role of the family, denigrating the role of the church, getting into the churches and changing the real gospel to the social gospel, making sexual perversion normal, natural, and healthy. I mean, just right down the line, all the things. And they're the things that are happening in our society right now. And we, the American people, are the pawns who are being manipulated. And it's one of the reasons that Khrushchev was so confident when he talked to Eisenhower and said that your grandchildren's children will live under our system. We won't have to fight a war because we think we won the Cold War. But they had a much better plan on how to actually change us, and we're falling for it.
Wow.
And we, the American people, have got to wake up before it's too late. And we've got to understand that part of the goal to overcome us is to divide us on the basis of race, age, income, gender, political affiliation, religion.
Yeah.
Because a house divided against itself cannot stand. Jesus said it. Abraham Lincoln reiterated it. And it's absolutely true. And you look and you see what's happening to our society. You know, we are neighbors and friends and co-workers and colleagues. We are not enemies. And look at the first letter of each of those words. We are not enemies. W-A-N-E, wane. We've allowed hatred and division to wax for a long time. Now it's time to let it wane and come together once again. It's okay to disagree about things. It doesn't make someone your enemy. Just because they have a different yard sign or a different opinion, it doesn't change the fact that that's your neighbor. And you think about the early days in our country when you had communities, sometimes of 50 or 100 families. They came from different areas of the world. In many cases, they could barely talk to each other because they spoke different languages. But they understood a concept called the common good. That's language that you see in much of the writings of our founders. The common good, what's good for all of us, not what's good for the Polish section or the German section or the African section, but what's good for everybody. And that was one of the things that made the difference. You know, if it was harvest time and Mr. Johnson broke his leg, everybody else harvested his crops. They didn't say, are you a Democrat or a Republican? What's your religion? No. They said, you're my neighbor and you need help. That was one of the real strengths of our nation. And we're allowing that to be destroyed. We're being manipulated. And one of the reasons I believe that that's happening is because we are the major obstacle to one world government and one world domination. But we cannot be overcome militarily. So you have to overcome us by destroying us from within.
Wow.
We have to recognize.
Wow, that was profound. Yeah, they want a one world government. This has been in the works for a long time. We know this. And they can't take us over militarily because, of course, we have two oceans on either side. It makes it very difficult. So they had to figure out something. And that's why they infiltrated the schools, the universities, every facet of life, as you heard him say, Hollywood, entertainment, news media. And here we are. I mean, remember the clip we just played in just the previous report. All the media was calling Kamala the border czar. Okay, that was from Newsbusters. They're calling Kamala the border czar, and then as soon as Biden drops out, they're trying to rewrite history, making you think what you saw before never happened. But that's again why this channel is so important. That is why the work we do here is so important, because we can call these people out. We can broadcast a message of truth across the world. And you guys are so important. You know why you're important? Because you're watching this. Because you're hitting the share button. You're helping us break through the algorithm when you press like and when you leave a comment. All those little tiny interactions actually show the algorithm that this is worth promoting. So remember that. Whenever you're watching someone's live stream, the more you comment, the more you share, all those interactions have an impact on that specific video so that you can raise it up in the algorithm. Keep that in mind. That's a little secret I'm telling you, in case you didn't know. Okay. Let's get into our next report here. Where's Angie?
Coming up, Kidnap and Kill documentary challenges official narrative of Whitmer kidnapping plot, alleging FBI entrapment and media collusion.
Breaking news, Patriots. A groundbreaking documentary is about to blow the lid off the so-called Whitmer kidnapping plot. The FBI does not want you to see this. So what if everything I told you, everything you thought you knew about this case was a lie? What if the real conspiracy wasn't against the governor, but against innocent Americans? The truth is more shocking than you can imagine. So stay tuned for an exclusive clip from Kidnap and Kill, an FBI terror plot. And trust me, you don't want to miss my final thought on this explosive revelation. And just as this documentary exposes hidden truths, a dash cam reveals what really happens on the road. Just like how this film shows the accused were set up, dash cams prove who's truly at fault in accidents. That's why I trust this state-of-the-art dash cam to protect me from false accusations. It offers 4K Ultra HD night vision, 24/7 motion detection, crucial for documenting any incident. Visit carvisionx.com for free express shipping and bonuses during their summer special. Don't let anyone twist the facts. Safeguard yourself with clear, indisputable evidence. Now, Americans, brace yourselves. What I'm about to reveal will challenge everything you thought you knew about the alleged 2020 plot to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. A groundbreaking documentary, Kidnap and Kill, an FBI terror plot, is set to expose a truth so shocking the FBI does not want you to see it. But before we dive deeper, let's take a look at the official trailer for this explosive film. Watch.
Earlier today, Attorney General Dana Nessel was joined by officials from the Department of Justice and the FBI to announce state and federal charges against 13 members of 2 militia groups who were preparing to kidnap and possibly kill me.
We're grateful to the FBI and law enforcement to discover these domestic terrorists and stop them. You know, it's the sort of behavior you might expect from ISIS.
You might see a number that high in a sprawling narcotics conspiracy that stretches from coast to coast and beyond. That's a pretty high number in a case like this. It really reflects, I think, how deeply the government has been diving into this investigation to try to make these cases.
It was just literally a bunch of working class guys who on the weekend got together and, you know, exercised their rights and trained with firearms. So the FBI says, hey, we'll just pay for everything.
Who arranged the meeting? The FBI's paid provocateur. Robeson was getting paid to set this stuff up.
So they make the route, they set the locations, they make the plan, they do everything, and Adam's literally just sitting in the basement of a vacuum repair shop smoking blunts all day.
You're going to hear that my client was the leader of this group. But I think you're also going to hear that there was an election held to identify the leader, and it was Dana.
How can I frame a social situation to make this naive person appear to be a dangerous, violent terrorist? The whole goal was for the FBI to spend millions of dollars to create militia groups, record them saying offensive stuff, and then frame them in a fake conspiracy.
Disturbing, isn't it? So this trailer gives us just a glimpse of the bombshells that independent journalist Christina Urso's film promises to drop. It features interviews with the accused, legal experts, and others close to the case, all challenging the official narrative that we've been fed. Now let's break down the facts. On October 8th, 2020, the FBI announced the arrest of 13 men claiming they were planning to kidnap Governor Whitmer and overthrow the state government. The mainstream media ran with the narrative, using it to push the idea that far-right individuals pose a domestic terror threat. But here's what they didn't tell you. The FBI's case was built on a foundation of sand. Urso's documentary alleges that federal authorities opened investigations on these men based, you ready for this, on Facebook memes and their dissatisfaction with the government. That's right, patriots, your social media posts could make you a target. Even more disturbing, the film claims the FBI utilized at least 12 informants and 2 undercover agents armed with taxpayer funds to orchestrate the entire plot. We're talking about government agents allegedly purchasing alcohol, ammunition, vehicles, drugs, and explosives, committing the very crimes that they accuse these men of planning. Now, this isn't just another documentary. It's a damning indictment of our federal law enforcement and a wake-up call for every citizen who values liberty. Now, let's talk about the trials. Of the 14 men charged, 5 were acquitted by 2 different juries. That's not just reasonable doubt. That's a sledgehammer to the prosecution's case. Even more telling, the documentary alleges that in one of the state trials, the judge disallowed the use of an entrapment defense and prohibited mention of the federal acquittals. If the government's case was so strong, why the need for such tactics? But it gets worse. Urso claims that Governor Whitmer, along with the FBI, The Michigan State Police and the Attorney General's office planned reconnaissance missions on Whitmer's own vacation cottage. They allegedly instructed FBI informants to invite individuals without fully disclosing the destination. This is not law enforcement. It is entrapment, plain and simple. The human cost of this alleged government overreach is staggering. Even the two men acquitted of all charges, Brandon Caserta and Daniel Harris, they're struggling to find employment and move on with their lives. Let's not forget the 20 unindicted co-conspirators, 20, who remain under the shadow of potential future prosecution. This is the kind of tactic you would expect in a banana republic, not the United States of America. Urso's film aims to expose the festering rot and the corruption of the federal government's police agencies, the media's venomous bias, and show everyone who is willing to listen that they have no idea how bad things truly are. It's a grassroots effort. It's funded by people who want the truth to come out. This documentary isn't just about the Whitmer case. It's about the erosion of our civil liberties, the abuse of power by federal agencies, and the complicity of the media in pushing false narratives. It's about how easily any one of us could be targeted, framed, and have our lives destroyed by an overzealous government. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. My fellow Americans, this is not just about a documentary. It's about our republic's very foundation. Christina Urso and her team are shining a light on a case that could redefine how we view federal law enforcement. As appeals move forward, kidnap and kill may well reshape public opinion and impact these ongoing legal battles. This film is a testament to the power of independent journalism in the face of government overreach. It's a rallying cry for truth and accountability. So if this report has opened your eyes, I urge you to learn more. Visit that link, kndkfilm.com, to support this crucial project. Remember, in a free society, sunlight is the best disinfectant. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and never stop questioning authority. Wow. Unbelievable. Yeah, she reached out to me. Actually, someone had tweeted me, and they connected me with her, and we had a discussion through direct message on X. She sent me the trailer, and I said, okay, this is something that people need to see. And as I was looking for news today, I'm like, you know what? We should really cover this. And put all the facts together, put the trailer there, and presented it to you. So what do you guys think about that? Any feedback? Secret Service uses more females to expect higher tips. What? Okay. And she is still the governor of Michigan. Isn't that right? Yeah. There was even talk about her like stepping into the nomination role for the Democrat Party. Maybe even VP. Unreal. The person in chat who said he had the unedited video was Crooks wearing longest shorts. I think he was wearing like long cargo pants or something like that. Wow. Wow. Amazing. Let's check one more time on the feed real quick, and then we will close out the show. Let's just check in real quick and see what's happening
We're being
in the
manipulated.
world. That was Ben Carson previously. Oh, wow. Is that right? Colin Ruggs reporting here 15 hours ago. Newsweek suggests Donald Trump was not actually hit by a bullet at his rally. Why believe your own eyes when you can listen to the media spoon feed you lies? Newsweek is trying to use FBI Director Wray's testimony to suggest Trump was not actually hit by a bullet, but instead may have been hit by shrapnel. Shrapnel. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Wray said during his testimony he was not completely certain what grazed Trump's ear, which Newsweek is now using to cast doubt in Americans' minds. The graphic below clearly shows the bullet paths directly lining up. And of course, this is the famous picture. You can see it there. And then this is the one of the 3D renderings of the shots as they happen. 3.3 million views on this post. Unreal. Yep. I mean, just like okay, 2 hours ago, Health Ranger is still posting. This guy is an animal. Thanks to Senator Grassley releasing more body cam footage from law enforcement, I've been able to pull this sunlight-lit image of Crook's rifle from the rooftop, rotate and enhance with AI upscaling and detail augmentation. It looks very clear. The rifle has a 1x red dot sight, no magnification, with a side-mounted AA battery holder. Take a look and see what you think. So this is apparently the actual shooter, the actual rifle itself, based on the enhanced image from the body cam. Okay, this is we brought this up earlier. This is happening right now, 14 minutes ago. Raw Global, France's high-speed train system has been severely disrupted by coordinated acts of sabotage. AFP reported on Friday France's high-speed rail network was hit by malicious acts, including arson attacks that disrupted transportation. What do you know? And all while the Olympics is going on, right? Unbelievable. Let's see here. 9 hours ago. Okay, so if you remember this story that we put out about Doocy confronting Karine Jean-Pierre today, it looks like Laura Loomer has secured the talking points that he was holding up. Kamala Harris and DNC are giving Democrat elected officials, surrogates, and members of the media talking points about Kamala being the border czar. Here's a copy of the talking points. They don't want you to see. Their talking points are all scripted. How embarrassing. They have to tell people what to say. Kamala needs notes just like Joe Biden. So let's see what it says here. Vice President Harris. Let's see if we can zoom in for you. Maybe we can get that right about there. Vice President Harris was never appointed border czar. There had never been such a position. It doesn't exist. Border czar title invented by Republicans and press repeats. Well, press repeats is at least true. Was not asked to lead on the admin immigration or border enforcement policies. POTUS asked her to lead admin diplomatic root causes strategies in Central America, not border policy. Tasked with addressing push factors driving migrants to flee these countries. So here you go. These are the talking points being handed out by the administration. They're clearly trying to distance the narrative that they themselves made. It's hilarious to see this stuff happening, man. These people, it's so easy to dissect and expose them. Okay, what's this? Wall Street Apes, 19 hours ago. Kamala Harris support has always been made up by the media. Watches fake news duplicates screens and shows the same people over and over again clapping in support of Kamala Harris. I guess they thought no one would notice. Fake support for a fake selected, not elected nominee. Let's see this here. Brian, can you bring this full screen, would you please? Or bring it up in the big box. There we go. Okay. This is 41 seconds. Let's roll this.
Okay, so we're watching this Kamala Harris live. And I don't know if anybody else noticed, but all these people on Zoom. So this lady, it's also this lady. And this lady,
no way.
It's also this lady. Oh wait, and this lady, it's also this lady.
Whoa.
So who are these people?
Wow. They couldn't even get enough people to fill a Zoom call, so they had to replicate the screens. Can you believe that? I'm not surprised, because all this entire administration is fake. Starting back in 2020. when they stole the election. The whole administration's fake from day one. Okay? To the crazy, AstroTurf at the gym, and that cult-like meeting that she attended of the fraternity in Indiana. Everything is fraudulent. So, folks, we have covered a lot tonight. So let's break it all down. We saw Kamala Harris gearing up to debate Trump, but her equity plan raises big questions. Is this really about fairness, or is it about taking from some to give to others? Then we had Trump calling out what he sees as a plot to push Biden out. Think about it. Are we looking at a Harris presidency? And what would that mean for America? We uncovered some fishy business with Harris's fundraising. If true, this isn't just bending the rules, it's breaking them. The White House trying to rewrite Harris's role in the border mess? Come on. Come on, man. We all know what's been happening down there. And that Michigan kidnapping plot documentary might just turn everything we thought we knew upside down. So why does this matter? Because it's about our country. It's about our future. It's about truth. If we can't trust our leaders to be straight with us, who can we trust? All right, folks. That's all I've got for you tonight. Big thank you to Angie, and thanks to all of you for tuning in and lighting up the live chat. Giselle, Neva, Jeremy, I see you guys, and I thank you for being here. Your engagement keeps us going. Remember what I told you before. All the likes, all the shares, all the comments boost the engagement level of these streams and push it through the algorithm. So keep commenting. Now let's talk straight, because it's been a year since we last reached out and things are not getting easier. This show, well, we have been your beacon of truth for over a decade, but right now we are facing our toughest fight yet. Look, America is at a crossroads. The upcoming election is not just about politics as usual. It's a battle for the soul of our nation, and we are here day in and day out challenging the narratives that are tearing us apart. But here's the deal. YouTube has kicked us to the curb, demonetized us, despite playing by the rules. Other platforms like Rumble, nope, they've shown us the cold shoulder. Yes, it's tough out there for truth tellers, but we are not quitting. We can't, not when the stakes are this high. And that's why I'm asking for your help. We need patriots like you to step up, whether it's a few bucks or just spreading the word. Every bit counts. It's not just about keeping our lights on. It's about keeping the flame of truth burning bright. It's about preserving the America that we know and we love. So if you believe in what we're doing, check out the links below. Donate if you can. Share our message, or just keep us in your prayers. Together, we can keep this fight going. Remember, your support isn't just for us. It is for the future of our country. So stand together and keep the truth alive. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay informed, and God bless America. Good night. Brian, why don't you take us out with some music, huh?
In sight, where troops dared to roam, Gary Franchi stood tall in the light. He found home with a lantern held high in the dark of deceit. Founded a Lone Lantern Society, won't accept defeat. Raise your voice, light up the skies with the next news network where the real truth lies. From the reality report to the fight to be free, Gary's the voice in the fight for liberty. Russo calls with with a mission so bold to restore the republic to the days of old. As the national director, he took up the cause against all the tyranny without pause. Raise your voice, light up the skies with the next news network where the real truth lies. From the reality report to the fight to be free, Gary's the voice in the fight for liberty. Marched on the Fed, his voice loud and clear. End the Fed! For all to hear. In 2008, the movement grew tall. Like for Ron Paul, Gary gave it his all. Raise your voice, light up the skies with the next news network where the real truth lies. From the reality report to the fight to be free, Gary's the voice in the fight for liberty. The lantern of light, Gary Franchi, forever in the fight. With news that's real in a world so surreal, he stands for freedom with undying